The daring proposition. Maya Rivera adjusted her black cocktail dress and stepped into the marble lobby of the Cross Tower, her heels clicking with determined precision against the polished floor. At 27, she had earned a reputation as the most fearless corporate negotiator in Chicago, the woman who could close deals that others couldn't even imagine. Tonight, she was crashing the most exclusive investor party of the year to challenge the man who thought he was untouchable. The penthouse buzzed with the energy of old money and new power. Venture capitalists in $1,000 suits discussed acquisitions over champagne that cost more than most people's monthly rent. Maya moved through the crowd like a predator studying prey. Her dark hair swept into an elegant updo that emphasized the sharp intelligence in her brown eyes. "You don't belong here," a voice said behind her, smooth and confident, with an edge that made her spine straighten. Maya turned to find Logan Cross studying her with the intensity of someone accustomed to cataloging threats. At 33, he was younger than most tech moguls, but twice as dangerous. His sandy brown hair was perfectly styled, his blue eyes sharp as winter ice. He wore his wealth casually, a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her car, but looked effortless on his athletic frame. "Neither do half the people here," Maya replied coolly, meeting his gaze without flinching. "But money has a way of opening doors that should stay closed." Logan's smile was predatory. "Maya Rivera, I know who you are. The woman who convinced Hartwell Industries to sell their patents for half what they were worth. Impressive negotiation." "Flattery doesn't suit you, Cross." She stepped closer, invading his carefully maintained personal space. "Especially when you're about to steal Meridian Technologies out from under their own board of directors." Something shifted in Logan's expression. The mask of casual arrogance sharpened into genuine interest. "Steal is such an ugly word. I prefer strategic acquisition." "Strategic theft," Maya countered. "Meridian's breakthrough in quantum computing could revolutionize communication technology. They deserve better than being absorbed into your empire and forgotten." Logan laughed, the sound drawing attention from nearby conversations. Several investors turned to watch their exchange, sensing blood in the water. "And what exactly do you propose to do about it?" he asked, his voice carrying the confidence of someone who had never lost a business battle. "Meridian's board votes tomorrow. The deal is done." Maya's smile was sharp as a blade. "I'm going to stop you." "You?" Logan's eyebrows rose in mock surprise. "One woman against Cross Industries? Against me?" He leaned closer, his voice dropping to something intimate and dangerous. "Go on, challenge me. But know that I've never lost a negotiation, never backed down from a fight, never met an opponent I couldn't destroy." The challenge hung in the air between them, electric and inevitable. Maya felt her pulse quicken, not from fear, but from excitement, from the thrill of finally meeting someone who might actually be worthy of her skills. She leaned in until they were almost touching, her lips nearly brushing his ear. When she spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper, but every word carried the weight of absolute certainty. "Only if you're ready to lose." Logan's breath caught. In 20 years of business warfare, no one had ever looked him in the eye and promised his defeat with such quiet confidence. Most people cowered before his reputation, his resources, his ruthless efficiency. Maya Rivera stood before him like she was doing him a favor by offering the challenge. "Interesting," he murmured, his gaze dropping briefly to her lips before returning to her eyes. "And what exactly are the terms of this impossible challenge?" "Simple," Maya said, stepping back just enough to meet his gaze fully. "Whoever closes the Meridian deal wins everything. Loser walks away from business permanently." The crowd around them had grown quiet, sensing the magnitude of what was being proposed. Logan Cross had never been challenged so directly, so publicly. His reputation was built on absolute victory. "Everything?" he repeated, his voice carrying new respect. Your company, your reputation, your future in this industry. Maya's smile was devastating. Of course, if you're not confident in your abilities. Logan's answering smile was sharp enough to cut glass. Maya Rivera, you've just made the most expensive mistake of your life. He extended his hand. I accept your challenge. When their hands met, Maya felt electricity shoot through her nervous system. His grip was firm, warm, and held just a beat too long to be entirely professional. She saw something flicker in his blue eyes, perhaps surprise, or the first stirring of something more dangerous than mere competition. May the best negotiator win, she said. Oh, they will, Logan replied, his voice promising both victory and something else entirely. They absolutely will.
The heat of battle. Maya spent the next week infiltrating Logan's world with surgical precision. She attended the same charity galas, frequented his favorite restaurants, positioned herself in his orbit like a comet threatening to disrupt everything he'd built. What she discovered challenged everything she thought she knew about business, technology, and the man she was supposed to destroy. Cross Industries wasn't just successful, it was impossibly advanced. Their quantum processors operated on principles that shouldn't exist yet. Their communication satellites used technology decades ahead of anything NASA had developed. And at the center of it all was Area, whose inhuman insights seemed to guide every breakthrough. You're playing with forces beyond your comprehension, Area warned when Maya cornered her in Cross Tower's executive elevator. Up close, the alien woman's purple skin shimmered with patterns that reminded Maya of circuit boards made of living light. Then explain them to me, Maya challenged. What is Logan really building? What do you want with Meridian's quantum technology? Area's smile was sad and knowing. He builds bridges between worlds that may never be ready to meet. Meridian's innovations could accelerate human development by centuries, or destroy your species if mishandled. And you're here to make sure that doesn't happen? I'm here to determine whether humanity deserves the gift we're offering. Logan thinks he's using our technology to build an empire. He doesn't realize he's being tested for something far more significant. The elevator opened at Logan's private floor, but Area didn't move to leave. Be careful, Maya Rivera. The man you're trying to defeat is not the man you think you're fighting. That night, Maya found herself working late in her temporary office when Logan appeared at her door. He'd loosened his tie and rolled up his sleeves, looking more human than she'd ever seen him. We need to talk, he said without preamble. About your alien technology advisor? About whatever test you're both running on humanity? Maya stood, facing him across the small space. Or about the fact that you've been lying to me since the moment we met? Logan's jaw tightened. You don't understand the stakes. Then make me understand, Maya shot back, moving closer. Tell me what's really happening here. Tell me why Area looks at me like a lab rat. Tell me why you're so desperate to win a challenge that should be impossible for you to lose. The words hung between them, charged with weeks of tension and unspoken attraction. Logan stared at her with those winter blue eyes, and Maya saw something crack in his armor. Because if I lose, humanity loses its chance at evolution. The technology Area's people have shared with me, it's a test. If I can prove humans are ready for true advancement, they'll reveal themselves. If I fail, they leave forever, Maya finished, understanding flooding through her. And I'll have doomed our entire species to isolation. The magnitude of what he was carrying crashed over Maya like a wave. Not just the pressure of business success, but the weight of humanity's future resting on his shoulders. Logan, she whispered, and then, somehow, they were kissing. His lips were warm and desperate against hers, months of careful distance dissolving in an instant. Maya felt herself melting into him as his hands tangled in her hair, pulling her closer until there was no space left between them. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. "This complicates everything," Logan murmured against her forehead. "Everything was already complicated," Maya replied, her hands fisted in his shirt. "The question is whether we're brave enough to admit it." Surrender to desire. They made love that night with the desperation of people who had been fighting themselves as much as each other. In Logan's penthouse, with the city sprawling below them like a circuit board of dreams, Maya discovered that the man who commanded boardrooms with icy precision became something entirely different when his walls came down. "I never wanted this," Logan whispered against her skin as she moved above him, her dark hair falling like a curtain around their faces. "Too late," Maya breathed, leaning down to kiss him with a passion that left them both shaking. Later, as they lay tangled in sheets that probably cost more than most people's cars, Logan told her the truth. About the accident that should have killed him when he was 25. About waking up in a medical facility that didn't exist on any map, surrounded by beings with purple skin and eyes like liquid starlight. "That's why you never lose," Maya said, tracing patterns on his chest. "You're not entirely human anymore." "I'm a hybrid," Logan admitted, shame evident in his voice. "Enhanced. Improved. According to Area, I'm the next step in human evolution, but sometimes I wonder if I'm just their pet human, performing tricks for alien masters." Maya lifted her head to look at him, seeing the vulnerability he'd hidden behind arrogance and success. "Is that what you think? That you're not real because you've been enhanced?" "I don't know what I am anymore," Logan said quietly. "I don't know where Logan ends and their technology begins." Maya kissed him then, soft and sure. "I know," she said against his lips. "You're the man who carries the future of humanity like it's his personal responsibility. You're the man who's terrified of failing people he's never met. You're the man who challenges everyone around you because you're afraid of being ordinary. And you're the first person who's ever made me want to lose," Logan replied, pulling her close. But their peace was shattered the next morning, when Area appeared in Logan's penthouse, her alien features tight with concern. "The Council has accelerated the timeline," she announced without preamble. "Human governments have detected our presence. They're mobilizing military assets to capture our technology." Logan sat up in bed, instantly alert. "How long do we have?" "Days, maybe hours. The test must conclude immediately." Area's dark eyes shifted to Maya. "The challenge between you two was never about business, Maya Rivera. It was about determining whether humans can evolve beyond their competitive nature, whether they can choose cooperation over conquest." "The entire negotiation was a setup?" Maya demanded. "A trial," Area corrected. "Logan represents humanity enhanced, your potential future. You represent humanity as it is, brilliant but flawed. The question is whether those two aspects can coexist." Before anyone could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the building. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, they could see military helicopters circling the tower like mechanical vultures. "They're here," Logan said grimly, already reaching for his clothes. "Maya, you need to leave. This doesn't have to involve you." "Like hell it doesn't," Maya replied, grabbing her own clothes. "If humanity is being tested, then I'm seeing this through to the end." As sirens wailed and soldiers stormed the building below, Maya realized their greatest challenge wasn't winning or losing. It was surviving long enough to prove that love could exist alongside ambition, that two people could compete fiercely and still choose each other when it mattered most. Victory in love. The siege of Cross Tower lasted 18 hours. Military forces surrounded the building while inside, Logan used his enhanced abilities to orchestrate an impossible defense. Maya watched him work with awe and growing love as he turned his corporate empire into a fortress, his enhanced mind calculating dozens of variables simultaneously. They want the technology, Logan explained as he rerouted building security and sealed critical floors. But if they capture it through force, they'll never understand how to use it properly. They'll weaponize everything. Then we give them what they want, Maya said quietly. But on our terms. Logan stared at her. Maya, if we surrender, we don't surrender. We negotiate. Maya moved to the communication console, her fingers flying over controls she'd learned to operate during their weeks of competition. I'm Maya Rivera, calling the commanding officer. I'm representing Cross Industries in negotiations for peaceful resolution. Maya, what are you doing? Logan demanded. Proving that humans can evolve, she replied, then spoke into the comm. I'm prepared to discuss full technology transfer, but only if you meet specific conditions. For the next 6 hours, Maya orchestrated the most important negotiation of her life. She leveraged every skill, every instinct, every hard-won piece of knowledge about reading people and finding compromise where none seemed to exist. She didn't just represent Cross Industries. She represented humanity's chance to join a larger galactic community. The technology will be shared with all Earth governments equally. Research will be conducted in international facilities with full transparency, and Mr. Cross will lead the transition team, working directly with alien liaisons to ensure proper implementation. Logan watched her work with something approaching wonder. You're magnificent, he whispered during a brief pause in negotiations. I'm tired of competing